Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today I'm going to be doing another book review. This one's kind of special because it's not something that, it's not a type of book that I usually get. This is The Last Wild Witch by Starhawk. It's a children's book, and what I like about it is about like a wild witch living in the forest, which is like my life goals. Maybe not like off the grid in the forest, but definitely how I see myself as a crone. But it's also, you know, I think really a sweet and enchanting way to share this magical feeling that we have with our children, with any child. So basically, I'll leave the link. So when I purchased my Wee Moon planner for the year, they had a link to buy this book. In case you don't know, Starhawk is a pretty famous pagan author. She wrote The Spiral Dance, which is considered a seminal work in what we consider modern paganism. And very well respected author, very sweet book. I'll read you just a brief little excerpt. The Last Wild Witch. And so this is just some of the art. Once there was a perfect town in a perfect world where there were rules for everything, and a right way and a wrong way to do everything, and nobody ever broke the rules. Well, hardly ever. For on the farthest edge of the perfect town stood the last magic forest, and this forest was wild. The plants and the birds and the animals and the insects and the fish and the streams all lived according to their own natures and didn't follow any rules at all. In the very heart of the last magic forest lived the last wild witch. She looked so ordinary that if you met her on the street, you might think she was your own grandmother. All day long she brewed herbs and leaves and berries in her big magic cauldron, making a healing brew that she fed to the birds and the animals and the insects and the fish in the streams whenever they felt a little low. And all night long she sang enchanting songs and played her drum. Sometimes when the wind was from the west, it would carry the fragrance of the magic brew or a few notes of the magic songs into the town. Sometimes, when the children were feeling low, or when they left their windows open at night, they'd sniff the brew or hear a snatch of the song, and some of the wildness would get inside them. In the perfect town, the children always lined up perfectly to walk into their schoolrooms. Boys on one side, girls on the other, in proper alphabetical order. They sat perfectly still in their seats and learned their lessons to perfection, and nobody ever misbehaved. Well, hardly ever. For when the wildness got inside them, they couldn't bear to walk in straight lines. They ran and jumped and danced and turned cartwheels on the very perfectly smooth grass. They wouldn't go inside when they were told to. They stayed outside laughing in the sunshine or jumping in puddles when it rained. Once in a great while, a few of the children would sneak out at night and run through the forest to visit the last wild witch. She would wink at them and grin. "Have some soup," she would say, and that is all that she would say. Once Janie Green and Johnny Brown stayed out all night long drinking the witch's magic brew and dancing with the rabbits and the deer and the birds, and they weren't even tired in the morning. And it goes on. Basically, you can kind of guess what happens. Their parents get involved, and there's just like, of course, some type of censoring, and it gets wild. It is a really good book, and it kind of reminds me of another book that I need to buy now. Ding, ding. But one of the books that I absolutely loved when I was a kid was the Stregonona books about another little old witch with her magical pot and her spaghetti. I love Stregonona. Definitely gave me Stregonona vibes, but in a beautiful forest, luring children to give them sweets and delicious food and magical brews. So definitely a cool book. Different review for me. This is not exactly going to be like an educational pagan book. This is going to be a fairy tale that portrays magic in just like, it's basically a metaphor, right? It's a metaphor for how we take our children who are born full of magic and just as nature intended, and to fit them into society, we crush the shit out of them. And maybe we shouldn't, and maybe that's what this is about. So I highly recommend it to you. I'll leave the link in the description below. Very good book. Definitely check this one out. Definitely check out Stregonona if you haven't already. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful books for children about little old witches who are just so cool. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.